Hello, and welcome to episode 43 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. I'm your host, Robbie Holden, joined, as always, by my friend and co-host, Sean Galbraith. Shawnee G, how you doing, and what you been up to since our last episode, my friend?
As always, doing fantastic, Robbie. A couple weekends ago, played the Vivian Sukwa Memorial Tournament out at White Spruce with my wife, Gabby. It was the weekend after the Mayhem. A distinct lack of Mandos all over the course, but nonetheless, a great time was had by all. The course was packed. They raised like $6,000 or something like that for charity. Absolutely an amazing annual event. Can't miss on the calendar season. Really big shout out to Mo from White Spruce for throwing it down as always, and the whole tournament staff. It was a hell of a lot of fun. And then also, I got my volunteer assignment for the MVP Open at the end of September. And once again, I will be back again as the official on hole 14. Love that hole. And they keep giving me way too much power for some reason. They think I can be trusted with it despite all evidence to the contrary. But nonetheless, that is the case. And as with last year, if I flag in an ace on 14, we're going to do another giveaway of something at some point. It may be very slowly and like it's really well delayed, like this year. Yeah. For so long as I'm out there and I'm flagging in aces, we're doing a giveaway for every one of them. And then lastly, in 22 days or something like that, we've got the Canadian Championships Nationals coming up out at Haute Goat, Cedar Creek, Project 15 in Newcastle. And I'm the volunteer coordinator for that. And we could use a little extra help. If you are, if you're out there and you're like, I want to help make this event better. Well, go to the Canadian Championships website. You can find it off of the disc golf scene there, and click on that volunteer link and get signed up. And I can absolutely put you to work. You can only work one day. That's fine. If you only work one course, that's fine. You only want to do one thing. I can work with that. I need some bodies out there to make this event the biggest and the best that Canada has ever seen. And we appreciate any help that you can offer. So that's it. That's been it for me. How you been, Robbie?
Things have been going pretty darn good. The last day, and I guess like 2 days now, I've got this random kink in my neck that has just been brutal, and not like I woke up with it. Like it's just in the middle of the day, I just like turned wrong, I guess, and then couldn't turn my neck again for the last like 30 hours. So that's always fun. I'm not even 30 yet, and my body's falling apart on me. That's good news.
Friend. Wait.
I know. I just have so much more fun to look forward to as my bones start to deteriorate. But beyond that, I played in the 39th annual Flatt Classic, which we will get into a little bit later in the show, and absolute blast. Like I said, the 39th annual. I didn't do any like official looking into this, but I got to assume that that's one of, if not the longest running tournament in Canada, definitely in Ontario of any tournaments that I know of. Maybe there's one in Canada wide that's a little longer that I don't know of, but either way, that is a long running tournament and also held at the third oldest course in Ontario, which is super cool, VA Berry Park in St. Thomas, and that was a lot of fun. It was super, super hot and steamy, which has been a theme of this summer overall, but that weekend was crazy hot. Didn't perform that well, but had a blast out there either way, so can't really complain about that. It's also, I believe, this hadn't happened when we were recording our last show, ratings update day, and I am back on track after 4 straight ratings drops. I got a 6-point rating boost up to 939. tying my career high, which I set at the start of the year before getting consecutive drops. So I'm back on track to where I was at the start of the year, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I can keep playing some decent enough disc golf that I can finally get over the 940 threshold. But other than that, that's been it for me, Shawnee G. How about you say we get into the rest of this show? And we've got a lot to get to in this show. But first, we're going to send it over to our feature interview for this episode. And we are very excited. Well, Shawnee G is very excited because Shawnee G took this interview solo as I was a little late getting back home from dropping my mom off at the airport. So Shawnee G is very excited to welcome on. Well, and I am too. Jaden Rye to the show. And we will be right back on Missed Mando.
Our next guest first joined the PDGA in 2020 and went pro right away. Since that time, he's been absolutely grinding out tournaments and has now played 212 sanctioned events since that time, including 59 in 2023, 47 last year, and so far in 2025, 28. This year, he has really started to make a name in the big leagues with a third place at the Majestic, 10th at the Discmania Challenge in Des Moines, 13th last weekend at Ledgestone, and 8th at the European Disc Golf Festival in Estonia. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome to Missed Mando a rising name on the Pro Tour from Murphy, Texas, Jaden Rye. Jaden, thank you for joining us here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So where are you coming to us from?
I am currently I think I'm in Indiana right now, but I'm at a buddy's house and we're here in town for Idlewild. And I think it's just getting ready for the weekend. So
is this your first time playing Idlewild?
It could be, and I say it could be because I'm currently on the wait list right now.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm not for sure in this one yet. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So actually, right after Ledgestone, I tapped out of my final round at like 5:45, jumped in the car that night, drove 4.5 hours out here, got into my Airbnb at 2 a.m. and had to Monday qualify at 9:36 and was exhausted and did not play well at all. And so I'm still on the wait list. So we'll see if I get in. So we got one more day.
Fingers crossed so hard right now.
Fingers
Absolutely. Oh man. Like talk about a grind. Like you are really putting in the work.
That one was a little bit tough, but it's all right. We'll see.
Before we get to the current day, let's go back to the beginning. We like to do this with all of our first time guests. So you first became a member of the PDGA in like October of 2020 or something like that. And then I think you played a tournament in November of that year and cashed at your first sanction event, took home $87 in a fairly, like in a deep field too. Like there was like 32 players or so. Had you been playing disc golf for a while at that, or were you sort of one of the COVID players? How did you first get into the sport and who introduced you?
Yeah. So I started playing the summer before my junior year of high school in 2019. So I played disc golf for over a year, probably close to a year and a half before my first ever sanction round in November. And so I actually got into it just with a childhood buddy of mine. I think we had known each other since first grade, and we used to do like ultimate frisbee trick shots together in 7th and 8th grade, and we just got busy once we got to high school, so we stopped doing that. And then summer before junior year, he went to this summer camp, came back, his counselor was a disc golfer, kind of introduced him to it, and was like, dude, we got to try this. So we went out to like Dick's Sporting Goods, got 3 discs each. I got like a Thunderbird, a V-Rock, and an AVR, and I tried to throw my Thunderbird like a ultimate frisbee on the first hole and lost it in the tree. And it was probably the best thing that ever could have happened because my V-Rock and putter flied more like an ultimate frisbee than that. So, but yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And then, I played just as a fun little side hobby all throughout like junior year of high school, all that kind of stuff. Then we get to COVID, kind of beginning of 2020. Had nothing to do. I was a big soccer player. I played soccer for 16 years. Was planning on going to play college in soccer, but when COVID hit, we stopped playing that. And there was nothing to do, so I'd go play 2-3 rounds of disc golf a day and got good fast. And on the tail end of COVID, more people were getting back out, more minis and local leagues were going on, and started playing a bunch of those. Got really good, started winning a bunch of them, and these guys kept asking me my rating, kept asking me what tournaments I'm playing in. I had no idea what any of that was. I was like, rating? Like, yeah, it was kind of weird because again, I had watched a few tournaments on YouTube and I just kind of thought it was like golf, and I thought you had to work your way up. I thought you had to qualify for stuff. I thought it was like really hard and very exclusive. But yeah,
you could just sign up. Oh, okay.
Not the local ones. Yeah. So I literally my buddies were like, "Hey, there's a flex start this weekend. You're coming out with us." So went out to this flex start, get there, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll play rec." And they just kind of laughed at me. They were like, "What are you doing?" And sandbagger. Well, yeah, I was like, I told the TD I'd play rec, and they laughed at me, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "I got to start at the bottom, work my way up." Like, I feel like that's just how it goes in sports, right?
That is what. I'm surprised you didn't go for MA4.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I tried to, and I'm really glad I didn't, because I ended up shooting a 4 under, like 994 rated round in my first ever sanctioned round. And yeah, like you said, got second, cashed, and again, flex start, not a whole lot, but at the time, it was, if you had made any money in the MPO division, you were ineligible for all AM events at that point. And so, yeah, it was one of those things to where, I was told about AM events after that, and I was like, AM stuff might have actually been a little bit fun, but I feel like for my career and everything, I feel like it kind of helped just going straight to MPO, because I had to play good to win and to succeed, and I got to play with big guys like Emerson around the area, and I got to battle with him, and I'm like, if I wanted to win, I had to beat that guy, and so I'd purposely go follow him around to tournaments and the minis and all that kind of stuff, just trying to beat him and just getting better. So, yeah.
So you played 2 tournaments in that first year, and then played all of the tournaments every subsequent year, I think.
Yeah, basically.
At what point were you thinking, like, yeah, this is kind of what I want to do. This is going to be my thing, and I want to do this like professionally, like not just like local pro, but like professionally.
Yeah, no, it definitely hit me. What was it? I guess it would be like the spring of my freshman year of college. I don't remember exactly. I think it was like 22. And it's 2022 is when it first kind of hit me. It was right after my first full season of college soccer. Played real well, had a lot of fun with the team, like blast. And then we come back for the spring semester. It's our off season, so we're not playing as much. And so I'm able to get out to more tournaments. And we have the 2022 Belton Open roll through. And I went to college at Mary Hardin Baylor in Belton, Texas, like sandwiched between Waco and Austin. And so I tried to get into Waco, couldn't get into that, just sat on the wait list. Deja vu since I'm doing that this week. But anyways, tried to get into Waco, couldn't get there. And so my first ever Pro Tour event was Belton Open. I was like, let's play. I had a local sponsor at the time, like a shop sponsor back home in Dallas, who was paying for my entry fees. And so I was like, hey, let's try and get in. Played real well the first round, and actually played with Macbeth, Brody Smith, and Ezra Aderhold for round 2. And again, I got in. Yeah, exactly. I got into disc golf around COVID area, and so all the videos that were coming out, Paul was always at the top, Ricky was battling, but like Discraft was the big thing, and so I was a very big Discraft guy, Discraft fanboy at the time. So I was like, this is
what a card to be on.
Exactly. I'm playing with 3 huge Discraft names, and so that was so cool. We were like 8th card, but had probably 300 to 400 people following us, and that was kind of like my first taste of what it would be like
big show.
Exactly. And so after that, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I actually played pretty well that round too. I think I ended up like, Paul popped off for like a crazy round. I tied Ezra and then beat Brody. So I was like, I actually played pretty solid for the first time in front of a crowd. So I was pretty proud of myself. But after that, I was like, this is insane. And then 2 weeks later, I actually flew out to Nashville for Music City Open and was like, because I got off the wait list for that tournament and was like, hey, let's go play. Let's go skip a week of school and see what we can do. And I didn't play good at all. Missed cash at that one, but it was still so much fun. And then I got back and then was like, all right, I talked to my parents a lot. I was like, I think this is what I want to do. And then called my coaches like the next week and was like, hey, so I've been thinking a lot about this. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think this is what I want to do with my life. And I knew I wasn't going to play soccer after college. I knew it was just going to be the 4 years while I was there. And then after that, maybe go coach or do something like that if I wanted to, just as like a little side job. But yeah, after that Music City tournament and Belton tournament, I was like, this is what I want to do. I was already making money doing it locally. And so I was like, all right, take soccer out of the equation. I'll be lots more free. And then I can get out and go do it whenever and go play more tournaments. So.
And play more tournaments you absolutely did.
Yes. Yeah. That being in the Dallas area, there are always tournaments. And then even while I'm at school in Belton, or 2.5 hours from Dallas, 2 hours from San Antonio, 2.5 from Houston, an hour from Austin. So it's like
that's a lot.
All the big cities. Yeah. All the big cities are right there. And so it's such an easy drive out to all of them. And so it's like, oh, hey, let's go play this tournament this weekend, this tournament, that. And I mean, I love just going nonstop and give myself, 1-2 days break, but on a Monday or Tuesday, but I just love playing tournaments. That's why I got into this sport, and that's why I'll continue to do it now. That's why I still play a bunch of events, even like a couple years later. So
cool. They're so much fun, of course.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
So let's talk about the so you played college disc golf for your school, Mary Hardin Baylor University.
Yep.
Are you still in school or have you graduated now?
No, I graduated this spring. So
okay.
I was
your college career is over.
Yes, I was a senior for my only year of college disc golf. So
so how were you like one of the founders of like the team, or did it already exist at that point?
So my freshman year, I came in and some guys had talked about it the previous year, but never actually did anything with it. And so I was like, well, let's make it happen. And so I knew whenever I got to school, like literally the first night, I ran in, like somebody came up to me. I was like, hey, you're Jaden, like the disc golfer, right? And I was like, what? Like, what? I didn't think people would know me. Like, I knew my soccer teammates knew me as the disc golfer because I missed stuff for disc golf. But then like the other guy, like this random guy came up to me as I was playing sand volleyball and asked me that. And I was just so confused. And he's like, yeah, I play a little bit here and there. And so we just went out and played. And then we ended up starting the club together, actually. And we found 2 other guys to go play with us. And we just jumped out to our like regional qualifier with 4 freshmen and tied for 4th, but then ended up getting bumped back to like the 5th place slot and actually did pretty solid. But then after that, that's when I was ineligible just because of like the cash rule for the next 2 years. But then they changed the rule and was able to play again my senior year. So
sweet.
But yes, started it myself, and now that I'm gone, it's still going. And that was my main goal that I wanted to be able to build it up enough to have it still be a good, steady program once I'm gone. So yeah, the person in charge of it now is doing great.
How big was the team when you finished?
When I finished, we probably had 15 or so people interested. We only took 2 teams to our regional qualifier just for like money purposes, because the school gives us money and we're able to use that for whatever we want it, whether it's entry fees into tournaments, the fees like membership fees, Airbnbs for nationals, all that kind of stuff. So we knew we wanted to go to nationals my senior year, so we only took 2 teams to regionals rather than 3, just to save money there. And plus also it kind of allowed for everybody to compete a little bit more, which in my opinion, just from like being the coach's perspective and looking at it, it made everybody compete a little bit more. And so people were more driven, people were getting out to more practices, trying to get better because they didn't have like a guaranteed spot, if that made sense. So
does. How did you like the format of collegiate disc golf compared to like just pure singles pro tour style?
I personally loved it, and
Match
it's
play
a ton of
mix.
Yeah, my freshman year we did that. We had one singles, one teams, and then one match play, and that was so much fun. But they had to switch it because there are so many teams now. Now we're doing different pools or teeing off in the morning and the afternoon, just because disc golf is getting so big. More schools are getting more teams, and each school is getting multiple teams. So
Absolutely.
we had to switch it, unfortunately. But the format itself is so much fun, just because the normal singles disc golf is a lot of fun and I enjoy it, but it just gives you a different perspective. And I mean, one good person can't carry the whole team. Like, you got to rely on the whole team. You take all your single scores between the four of y'all, average it together. That's your starting single score. And then you play best shot doubles alternate. And it can get super intense real quick, and it's just a ton of fun. And so, yeah, I was just going out there with all my best friends from college, and we were just having a good time with it. So,
And you did pretty well. You are, was it ranked number 2 in the mixed power ranking, which I don't know what that is, but it sounds impressive. Is that because you finished second in the D1 singles event, including bagging a sick eagle on a massive 747-foot final hole?
Yeah. So the power rankings and everything was actually finalized before the tournament had started.
Okay.
And so that was based off of regional qualifiers, conference events as well throughout the year. And so I was actually number 1 for most of the year because I had won the one in Texas, which is probably the biggest qualifier out of all the collegiate qualifiers, just because of the number of teams that are there and how many good people are there. So I was 1 for most of the year. And then like the last update fell to 2. Just because that was the only one I'd played, which, yeah, whatever.
Still.
But it was
You
still
went
super
out
cool.
pretty high.
Yes, and then once we got to two nationals, ratings, or like the rankings didn't mean anything, because it's like, oh, you could be the number 1 ranked player and then not do well and not make the cut in the final 9, and then your ranking didn't mean anything. So I wasn't too worried about the ranking. I was mostly just focused on going out there and playing my game and having a good time. And I mean, that's my thing whenever I go out and play disc golf, is just enjoy myself no matter what circumstance or scenario I'm in.
And I noticed you were playing against another friend of the pod, Kalen Schatt.
Yep.
One of our local guys for Redeemer.
Yep, absolutely. He's a fantastic guy. I actually just met up with him and Jesse Longnecker, who beat me. He got first. Yep, I got second. Kalen got third. We were all on the final 9 lead card together. I actually met up with all 3 of them this past weekend in Ledgestone for a practice round.
Awesome.
And yeah, had a blast. It was a nice little, like, almost full lead card final 9 reunion. We were just missing Cade Kohlmeyer from Emporia State. But it was a good time.
Speaking of a good time, you just got back from Europe not too long ago, where you played at the European Disc Golf Festival in Estonia and Worlds in Finland. And you had fantastic success in Estonia with an 8th place finish, earning you your biggest payout to date, a solid $2,700. And you cashed at Worlds in a very respectable 45th. How'd you like playing in Europe? Was this your first time over there playing? And how did you like the 3 courses you had for these events?
The whole Europe just experience was absolutely incredible, and a like bucket list disc golf experience. It was insane. So this was my first time to Europe or outside the country playing disc golf. I've been outside the country before, but just for vacation and all that kind of stuff. But first time out of the country playing, and it was insane. I got to Estonia a day and a half before the event, and so I'm flying in for 26 hours, paying attention to what time it is on my phone in Estonia. So I'm sleeping because I'm only giving myself, I got in late, and so I got a late practice round in because the sun doesn't go down until 11:45 out there. And so I basically got a late practice round in, and then had 1 full day before the tournament to adjust to the 10-hour time difference. And I did it pretty well and was no, not a lot of time, but I was able to plan super well and follow my little regimen that I kind of planned out ahead of time. And I mean, to be honest, the course itself was super self-explanatory, which was good. Only one course. It was just, it's right there in front of you. This is OB. Don't throw it OB.
Pretty straight
Execute, and that's all it was. Yeah. So I didn't need a whole lot of preparation for that. And it was mostly just like, all right, Estonia is going to be my warm up for Worlds, and I'll be adjusted to everything and ready to go for Worlds. And then I just went absolutely nuts in Estonia, and after like 2 slower first rounds, like they weren't my best golf. I missed a lot of putts, left a lot of OB strokes out there. Took 1 big number the first day, and I was like, dang man, like that sucks. Like off to a slow start, but I can still kind of crawl back and make the most of it. And then a back-to-back 1070, 1080 rated round jumped me all the way up into a top 10 and 8th place finish. And that was just insane. So
is that
such a cool
up
feeling.
there among your highest rated rounds of all time?
Definitely 1080 something is probably like my 4th or 5th. I actually have 3 1090s.
Wow.
And I actually shot my highest rated round ever right before I left for Europe. I played a local B tier and shot like a 1048 round 1, was like 2 strokes back of the lead, and then shot a 1096 final round to win by 5 and average like 1070 something for the event. And so it's just been a hot stretch of golf ever since Majestic. So yeah, I missed cash at the Preserve, just got done graduating from the spring semester, and took a little bit of time off, kind of first tournament back on tour, and then ever since missed cash there and played Majestic. It's just been super hot shooting since then. So yeah, definitely feeling really good.
How was it walking out into the hole 1 at the Song Festival grounds?
Oh, it was so sick. So sick. They got the whole backdrop all around you. You do your little media thing the first day. They call your name. They got American flag on one side. They got your name, world ranking, everything on the other. It was so cool. And I wish I could have been teeing off a little bit closer to lead card to kind of see all those people around it. But at the same time, I think I was like 4th or 5th card the last day. And so I was able to see like a good amount of all that. And we also got to see all the crowd following the lead card a couple holes behind us. But super cool experience. But I mean, Estonia wasn't even as big as they said it was. They said it would be because there was like a rally car race going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that weekend.
Yeah, less than an hour from the course. And so a lot of people were there. So the numbers were down from what they expected, but Worlds was just off the charts as far as like the spectators and fans. Like it was insane.
So let's talk Worlds. You pop over to Finland, and first of all, let's just back the experience of showing up at Worlds. Like it looked insane on coverage, and were you guys getting like, as the players, like the VIP treatment? Was it like, oh, this is real athlete stuff?
Yes, absolutely. And it started in Estonia first too. Like both Estonia and Worlds, we were treated so well, like better than I've ever been treated at any other event. But I'm also, like you said, up and coming name, so people don't know me as well. And I haven't been out to as many things, but it was insane. So many people just doing so much stuff to take care of us players. And then you just step out there and, these guys, like these kids are all running up to you asking for autographs like all the time. Like they don't even know who you are, but they see that you're not from here and they see you back on your back. Yeah, it was a super cool experience just to like be around and just be in that atmosphere all week long at both tournaments.
So it was an interesting contrast between the two courses in your game, shall we say. So
yeah, to say the least.
The beast was thoroughly slayed, I would say.
Yep.
With you show up as a -26. Yes, at the
correct.
Beast, and at the Monster, it was. I mean, it wasn't quite that low. It was a smidge higher, and I think a plus 11.
Yep.
Yep. So
yeah, you could say the Monster slayed me, and I slayed the Beast. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been saying.
It was an interesting blend of the two.
Yeah.
So, how did you, putting aside the results, how did you enjoy playing the two courses, even if one kind of, knocked you around a little bit?
Yeah, well, both of those courses were insane. The Beast, to start off, I've grown in the sport watching that event every year, watching past events, watching the McBattle with Eagle and Paul. Like, just that course alone has so much history and is so just cool to be able to step out onto that property and be able to play that course. And then also to do it. Exactly. And to do it for the World Championships, first time it's ever been out of the US, and in front of all those fans, it was just absolutely insane. But then jumping over to the Monster, it's like, I played that course awful, but it's easily in my top 3 courses I've ever played. It is so fair, so tough, so demanding. And I was telling all my friends back home, I was like, this will probably be the best World Championships ever. One, because of the fans and everything, yes, but because the winner of this tournament has to be the best all-around golfer, like, as far as your entire game goes, because it challenged so many different, like, shot shapes, lines, and I don't throw a whole lot of flippy discs, as I've got a very good backhand and sidearm, and so typically here in the States, I can get away with throwing sidearms any shots that go right. But there in Monster, it's like there's a lot of hyzer flip to late turns 400 feet down the fairway. I'm like, my sidearm doesn't go that far, and like it's very demanding. And I mean, I feel like I played at least round 1. I feel like I played better than the score shows, just because that course demands you to throw well, and good shots put you to 45 feet. And that's kind of where I've been struggling this year, is that circle 2 range. My circle 1's been better this year than in the past. But my longer putts have been a little iffy. And so I actually just made a putting switch because of it. But yeah, I switched putters right after Worlds to help with that. But at the Monster, you gotta putt well to be able to score well. And that first round I did not, which is why I didn't score well. And then I just had one bad blow up hole on 17 where just putted like 5 times, thought I was in the bullseye, and just kept rolling down the hill. And then same thing with the final round. I wasn't throwing good, and then wasn't making any putts, and so it was real tough. So, but I was able to keep my confidence high, even though played those real bad. I was still in contention with how good my first round was at the Beast. I wasn't I wasn't beating myself up too much, and it was one of those things to where, hey, we're going back out to the course that I played good. I'm only 3 back, 4 back of the cut line. I know I can play well. B-Pool's going back out to the Monster. And I just kind of put my head down, grinded, and did what I could. And then at that point, it was just like, leave it up to the field to do the rest. And I mean, I played, I think, a bogey-free 10 under round, and it was super clean, so nice. And then was able to make it into Sunday, and that Sunday experience was just insane with all the fans.
Do you think you learned anything about your game playing, first of all, such high contrast rounds, but then also playing in such a high pressure environment?
I mean, I've always kind of told myself that, like, even though I have like these bad rounds, I know I can shoot these 1090 rated rounds. Like, I've done it before in the past. I know I can get back into it. And so I've always told myself, like, don't ever keep hanging your head after a bad round, or after, a couple bad holes, whatever. It's all about how you deal with it the next day, or even, on the course, the next hole. It's like, you just got to move past it. And so it was a nice, good, humbling experience, I guess you could say, because I was nice little hot stretch, and played good at the Beast to start, and then played real bad at the Monster. But it was a good, like, test as far as like, all right, hey, keep it cool. Like, make sure you're dialing some things in. And I mean, as soon as I got back, I'm like, all right, now I got to start working on throwing some flippier shots, because you'll never know when you need it. Like, I know I'll probably need it here in a little bit at GMC at Brewster. And so playing courses like that, like the Monster, courses that good, are going to help me tremendously for these courses like Brewster coming up here in a little bit. So
speaking of the rest of your season,
Mhm.
so looking ahead, so you're signed up for CCR, which is a big A tier in Michigan. You
Mhm.
hopefully are going to be shredding it at Idlewild this weekend.
Yes.
You're signed up for D-Glow.
Mhm.
Have you played those before?
No. So the only events that I'm playing from this moment. Yes.
boy.
So the only events I've played from this moment on are USDGC, and then I haven't ever played GMC, but I played those courses for Worlds 2 years ago. So that's the only experience I have out here as far as the tournaments I have left. So
you're currently ranked 44th on the Pro Tour, I believe. So does that mean you've now earned a spot or an invitation for the MVP Open?
yes, I believe so. I haven't looked at it recently, but I'm pretty sure it's like top 100 or 120 for GMC and then 80 for MVP.
That's correct.
I could be wrong. So okay,
you are not wrong.
Then yeah. Okay, sweet. So yes, I have, and I plan on being at both of those playoff events. So
that was going to be my next question. That is fantastic. I asked because I'm on staff at the MVP Open. So you will see me out on hole 14. I will be the official on that hole.
Let's go. I'm trying to think which one is 14. I've never been out there.
That's your ace last year. The sort of island shot from up high. You throw it over the lake and you have to hyzer down.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what all you're talking about.
So I'll be giving you the green flag on that one for sure.
Well, hopefully you'll be giving me green flags every round. So
absolutely.
Let's go.
So, do you see, like, now that you're done school, is doing the Pro Tour grind going to be the 2026 plan, or are you going to be still playing like mostly more like Texas regional tournaments, or you going full, get in the van and let's go tour life?
I'm going the full tour life. So I'm doing it the rest of this year. Actually in the Camry. So I won't be getting a van. I'll be sticking with the Camry I'll be sticking with this bad boy for gas purposes, and then just getting Airbnbs and staying with some friends here and there. So like I said, I'm in a house with one of my buddies here in Idlewild. And then for the rest of the weeks, there's just a group of us anywhere between like 4 to 8 of us that split Airbnbs, and we make it work, and it's actually pretty cheap. So save money on gas rather than paying for the big RVs or vans. And just also from what I've heard, especially during the Midwest swing, these Airbnbs with AC are way better than the vans without AC or with generators that have to be plugged in.
Not quite.
So I think I'm gonna be rolling with the B&B life for next year. But either way, full tour.
So being new on tour, I imagine there is a bit of a learning curve to like how to tour. Are there any players who, like, seasoned veterans that you've been talking with or learning about, like, like everybody knows you get a Planet Fitness membership or whatever.
Yep.
Like, are there any players that you've been looking up to or that have been sort of taking you under your wing, as it were, to come young Padawan, let us show you the way of the road?
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, I grew up kind of chasing Emerson around the Dallas area as far as trying to get better in tournaments. And 2 years ago, when we were actually on Lone Star, that was kind of the first time that I got out and was hitting multiple tour events. And so he kind of took me under his wing, asked me to travel with them here and there. And he would kind of drive me out to some places, pick me up at a tournament here and there, and would just kind of help me out and be like, yeah, hey, Rick did this for me. He helped me out a little bit here and was kind of doing, a few things here and there, helping me kind of get used to a little bit of the tour life, just letting me know about some stuff. And then from then on out, I mean, I just kind of last year just hit a few events here and there, kind of flew out to one, hit a couple in the middle of the year, and kind of made a lot of friends. Got plugged into the Eagles Wings group, and so I've been traveling with a lot of those guys now. So now I'm traveling with like Andrew Miranda, Evan Smith, let's see who else, Ty Love, like those guys I'm kind of with like on the regular, and then we'll kind of throw in some other people like Rozak, Silas, Linus, like they're kind of just depending on where everybody's at, what people are doing for housing. We'll just kind of jump around with all of each other. And, a lot of those guys have been on the road for a couple years and have just kind of been, helping me out, helping me get adjusted a little bit. But it's been so nice, just the amount of like help that I've gotten from numerous people rather than just like, one or two people. So
it sounds like the Pro Tour is still a bit of a community.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely love to hear that. So you mentioned Lone Star. They kind of imploded dramatically, shall we say.
Yeah.
And so I think you are now on Team Dynamic Discs for 25. Is that correct?
No, I was with Dynamic last year. In 24.
Okay.
Yes. And so this year I'm open bag with Meridian, Hooligan Discs and Armory Discs as my like main sponsors.
I don't know Meridian. Who are they?
So Meridian is a company out of Belton, so right where I went to college. Peyton Mansell and Josh Hofstra own it, and they're brand new company, about 2 years old. They started last year, kind of just built it up, got it going, and this year is when they kind of started sponsoring bigger pros. And so we have people like Emerson on the team, Zach Nash, Mason Ford, GT Hancock, a lot of really good Texas players. And I think if you look at the top like 10 Texas or like players rated in Texas, we have the 5 of the top 7, I think, is what you look at. Wow. On our team. And so, yeah, it's a pretty sick little squad. And they're making their own discs. They're up and coming. They only have 6 molds right now, but it's an open bag sponsorship, at least for me. And so then I'm with Hooligan as well, and they're out of Rockwall, Texas. Another guy, Garrett Prisick, great guy who's helped me along the road. I was actually with them when I was with Lone Star, because Lone Star used to make their discs. Now it's Gateway. And so again, now open bag. And so I can throw whatever I want, and I'll just basically throw a couple of their molds in my bag here and there. And then Armory Disc Golf's out of College Station, and they're just a retail sponsor who helped me out big time. So those 3 guys are my main guys.
Let's do a little mini in the bag chat. So what from your, was it 2 disc sponsors?
Yep.
So from those guys, what discs are you like really loving from them, and like they don't leave the bag?
Yeah. So right now, the ones that don't really ever leave the bag are my Ravines from Meridian, which is our like neutral to slightly stable mid-range 5502.
Nice, classic.
2 disc. Yeah, it's such a good mid-range. It's basically just like a slightly more stable buzz and really good in the wind. Yeah, very, very good feeling disc, and even better flyer. So those guys is probably the best one that I'm throwing. Another one that I love throwing is the Current, which is also Meridian 7.5, like -1.1 to 7.502-ish. So kind of like your T-Bird-esque FD.
Yeah.
Very good kind of straight flyer. And then for the woods golf, especially at like the Monster and then Northwood Black, I was throwing the Rip Current a lot, which is just a flatter version of the Current, and it's a little bit flippier. Also from Meridian. And then with the Hooligan side, I've got my Tour Series Dimes. It's kind of like a Judge. It's like a 2401. It's kind of like a little deeper, slightly domey, beaded putter. That's basically just kind of flies like a little overstable 2020 Luna, basically.
Oh, cool.
But lots easier to get. So
And what are you like? Is this like more of a base plastic putter feel? Are you going premium with this one? What do you like in your putter?
they have both. But the main one that I bag is a premium, like Primo Glow putter. And that's the one that my Tour Series disc is actually in, just because of how much I liked it. So I was like jumping on it right away.
And what now that you're open bag, what discs are you like? Oh, thank God I can put this back in the bag now. Like I know when Thomas Gilbert went semi-open bag, he was like, "Oh, my destroyers are coming out of the box. Let's go."
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. I bag. I think I have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 destroyers in the bag. So yeah, 5 destroyers in the bag, all different stabilities.
Of course.
Just for consistency purposes. It's nice being able to go to the same mold, same feel, and have different flights from each one of them. It's very good distance driver. And then the PDs, zones, and destroyers are the 3 molds that I've always just really loved and love having in my bag. So all from different companies too. So it's like, I'm not not geared more towards one or the other. They all do so much work for me on any course.
I love that. I love that people bag destroyers for consistency, and they're like the most inconsistent disc from run to run. Plastic to plastic. It's like, this is my fitted destroyer. This is my beefy destroyer.
Yep.
It's still a destroyer.
Yeah, it is. It is still a destroyer, but it's perfect for it's perfect for somebody like me, because you go look at them and the wings are all different and the shapes are all different. But as far as like feel goes, like with the rim and everything, it's perfect because I can go grab them all and they feel fairly similar
in your hand. Yeah,
exactly, and they come out consistent. And rather than switching between like a boss, a nuke, a venom, a destroyer, a wraith, all that kind of stuff, switching between all that, I have 5 destroyers, and so it just helps me with consistency purposes, and that's why I like to stick with it. So plus I have a lot of them, so I'm never having to cycle through finding new stuff.
So one more question before we get to the lightning round, which we do with all of our guests. So broadly, how are you feeling about the state of your game right now in 2025, and what aspects are you maybe giving a little more attention to, and what do you feel like this is dialed?
Yeah. My game right now is feeling better than it ever has before. I'm a very big like forehand guy, and so forehand touch shots, especially in the woods.
Ultimate background.
Yes, yeah, for sure. That, and then a little bit of baseball, 12 years of baseball, also help with that. And so my distance driver, fairway, backhands feeling great. Forehand, all around, everything is feeling amazing. So the only kind of part of my game that I'm struggling a little bit with is my like touchier mids and putters on the backhand side. And so that's been something that I've been working on a lot recently, just trying to dial in, just to give my arm a little bit of a break when I get into the woods. But also just to be able to throw those shots, because that's kind of what I find myself getting into weird spots, especially at a course like Northwoods Black this past weekend, where you're not going to be able to throw forehands from every scramble lie. And so that's typically why I'm a good scrambler, is because I can throw all these different angles on forehands, hyzer flips, flat, turnover, force overs, whatever it is. But occasionally I need to be able to bust out a patent pinning backhand, putter, touch shot, and that's not been the most comfortable shot in my game recently. So I'm trying to dial that in, but the putter is starting to click. Like I said, I did recently make a putter change. Not necessarily because it wasn't working. I was putting with Recos. I was putting really good from inside circle. But my circle 2 stats were down. So I told myself, stick with those through the European stretch and then mess with some things when I get back. So I'm actually putting with the DJ Sonars right now, and they're feeling amazing. And the circle 2 stats are going up a lot. So I actually did real well with that in Ledgestone. And so that's something that's kind of getting me higher up, as I'm put myself in better spots because I'm making more putts now finally. So yeah, my game's feeling better than ever right now, and it feels amazing to be able to see it like on the scorecard as well, and see it with the finishes that I've been putting up these past few months.
The work you've been putting in is absolutely paying off. The second half of your season has been absolutely fantastic, and we're excited to see how the rest of the season goes and follow you in 2026 for sure.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm excited for the rest of it too.
Absolutely. So before we let you go, want to hit you with the lightning round questions that we ask all of our new guests. Quick answers, whatever comes to your mind first to these stupid questions. So first the softball.
Okay.
What is your favorite course?
Probably Fox Run. Yeah, Fox Run in Vermont. Probably one of my favorites I've ever played. Just off the top of my head.
What is the hardest course that you've played?
Probably the Monster.
I was going to say it's a monster.
Yeah, that or Northwoods Black. It's been kind of a debate, so we can get into that if we want to, or if we want to keep it going with the Lightning.
Let's think. Let's put the Lightning on hold. So that's the second game. Let's hear it.
Yeah. We were kind of talking about it a little bit this past week as far as which one's harder. I think Northwood might be the hardest because there's more random trees in the fairways, and they're not pure lines. And the Monster, it's more pure lines, but like harder shapes to hit. So it's kind of goes either way. Obviously, if you look at how I played both courses, you would think the Monster's harder. But I was able to kind of poke through a lot of the stuff at Northwoods lots better. And plus, I was able to throw a lot more forehands out there, which suits my game better. So, yeah, a little bit of both, just kind of depending on how you look at it. But one of the two for sure.
Both absolutely very difficult course and couple best on tour.
For sure.
Okay, one sport to play or watch other than disc golf. What are you choosing?
Probably football or basketball, but all year long besides like just playoffs. Yeah, football.
Okay, good choice. What song instantly makes you turn up the volume to max and sing your heart out, or the go-to karaoke song?
Right now, it's probably "These Are the Days" by Nico Moon.
I don't.
I'm
have to look at that.
It's a catchy one. It's not anything like insane, but it's a super catchy song, and it's one that I'll throw on right before I'm getting to the course.
Hype songs
to last the sing time. Oh yeah. It's just one I get to sing along to, and it just gets me going a little.
Love it. You're on a road trip now that you're on the tour life. The tummy's grumbling and you need some food. What sign up ahead do you hope that you see to make a stop?
It's a Love's truck stop with a Subway in it all day of the week. I'm a big Subway guy, and I've got me my All-Star reward member, all that status. And I get me a cream soda, vanilla Dr. Pepper to go with it. So, I've already got my jerky in the car, and so between the Subway sandwich, the beef jerky, and the vanilla cream soda Dr. Pepper, I'm set.
So what movie never gets old no matter how many times you watch it?
Top Guns. Both of them.
Both of them?
So good. Both of my favorite movies I've ever watched, and the music in them is incredible. And it's hands down both the Top Guns.
Have you heard the Top Gun Maverick theory that he actually dies when he ejects out of the plane at like Mach 1,000,000, and then the rest of the movie was just basically like a dream as he's dying?
I haven't heard that before.
Because it's basically literally impossible to survive that ejection.
That does make sense. Yeah. Now that you put it like that. Interesting.
Yeah. He's basically putting himself into Star Wars.
Interesting. I have not heard that one before. Okay. You might have to. Interesting. I might have to hit my roommate up about that one and talk about that more.
And lastly, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Probably to teleport with my car and everything. That way you don't have to go through these long road trips in between each tournament.
It would certainly make the tour a lot easier and quicker.
Yes, it would. That or to never have to deal with waitlist again. But I'm about to get my tour card, so I won't have to deal with that.
As I was going to say, you get that tour card next year, you will not have to worry about that at all.
Yep. I didn't get a silver card this year because I wanted to play my last year of college tournaments, and that was the only rule I had to follow with the new rule change. But
Okay.
I'll be getting it next year for sure.
Absolutely, you will, because you've had a fantastic season, my friend.
Thank you very much.
So before we let you go, any shout outs or final remarks you would like to give? The floor is yours.
Yeah. First off, all my sponsors that are supporting me this year: Meridian Discs, Armory, Hooligan, the three guys I had mentioned earlier, as well as Loot Bags. They're my chalk bag company that have been absolutely killing it. It's been very hot the past few weeks, and I would not be able to survive without chalk because I sweat way too much. So thank you to those guys. Big Country Beef Jerky. Like I said, always snacking on their stuff. Amazing. Best jerky I've ever had, hands down. And that's before I even got the sponsorship. I was saying the same thing. And then just to my parents, my biggest sponsors out there. Love you guys. Thank you for believing in me and for being my biggest fans. So
absolutely love that. The tour doesn't happen without so many people behind you and supporting you. And I'd love to hear when young players are getting that support and that love to try to dream.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. This has been awesome, and to be able to call this job or be able to call this sport my job now is just a blessing. And I don't know how I would have, I don't know how different my life would have been with soccer, not giving up soccer without COVID. It's just, it's incredible. And the Lord's put me in the right place at the right time and put the right people in my life when I needed it. And so I've just extremely blessed with this whole situation and everything and this whole sport. So it's incredible.
If there's anything that good that has come out of COVID is just, frankly, is disc golf for so many people, including myself and my wife. It's wonderful. So, Jaden, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your evening. I really hope you get off that wait list for Idlewild. We want to see you on that lead card, and we really want to thank you again for joining us on the show. It's been wonderful chatting with you and learning more about your disc golf career. And we're excited to watch you progress and see you jump up that ranking list.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me. It was a blast. Look forward to more, maybe.
Absolutely. We will have you back 100%. And sweet. Speaking it, we'll be right back here on Miss Mando.
Welcome back to Missed Mando. Thank you once again so much to Jaden for coming on and joining the show. And Shawnee G, we are going to move on now to a little bit of Ontario talk. We've got no general news to cover, so let's throw it on over to you for some registrations.
There can't possibly be any more registrations, right?
No,
can there?
You're mistaken.
There are 2 more registrations opening up in the next week. We got first the Battle at the Bluffs down in Port Stanley. Registration opens today, August 22nd, and the event is going down on October 4th. Definitely check that out. And then second, for you old timers like me, the Cold Creek Masters Extravaganza is going down at Cold Creek Conservation Area in King Township. This is put on by the 60 and Heisers guys out of Midland, and they put on a fantastic tournament. I am told that I just made a mistake on the Battle of the Bluffs. So sorry. The Battle of the Bluffs opens August 22nd. That is correct, but that is Friday. When we normally record on Tuesdays, and so +2 would get me to Thursday, but today is Wednesday when we're recording, and I am all discombobulated. So, Battle of the Bluffs Friday, August 22nd. Sign up, get it. And then the Cold Creek Masters Extravaganza from the 60 and Heisers crew going down at Cold Creek Conservation Area in King Township. Registration opens Saturday, August 23rd, and the event is going down on October 22nd. I also wanted to highlight a couple events that are still open for registration, and there are still some spots available for it. We want to make sure these things get full. The Maryland Bell Glow League is hosting the Great Discape at Maryland Bell Park. It's going down on Wednesday, August 27th. It's only $50, and you get 3 discs from the Toronto-based company Discape, including their brand new glow disc. They got this one disc called, I think, the Dark Might. It looks kind of like, as from I can tell in the pictures at least, it looks like a zone had a baby with a berg. And I don't know what that's about, but I am really intrigued by it. I definitely want to check it out. I think that is one of the discs that you get in this pack. Looks like a lot of fun. And Dan Rice and the Maryland Bell crew, they put on fantastic Glow League. Next, the Wild Country Challenge. This is a great camping tournament over the Labor Day long weekend out at Wild Country in Fenelon Falls. I was there last year. It was a great time. The course is a lot of fun. It's going down August 30th and 31st. And then one more event to highlight that same weekend, the Labor Day weekend, is the Ontario Junior Championships going down in Paris at the Green Lane Sports Complex on August 30th. This is the culmination of the ODSA Little Heisers Tour for 2025. There is still time to get your kids signed up to play it. And like the rest of the tour, this is free for juniors to play. Strong recommend. Big shout out to the ODSA and especially Ryan Bevilacqua, friend of the show, for really organizing an amazing tour for the kiddos. And I think you're going to be out there. Is that right, Robbie?
That is correct. If you want to, if you are a junior playing in the event or you are a parent of a junior playing in the event and want your child to join a disc golf clinic by a very amateur disc golfer, well, I'm your guy because I will be there offering a clinic. Bevy asked if I wanted to do something like that. I said, sure, why not? I don't know exactly what I'll do, but right on. I'll do my best. So I'm probably gonna watch some like basic like clinic videos on YouTube and just kind of like pick some things out that actual pros say in videos. But beyond that, I will be out there volunteering, doing whatever Bevy needs me to do. I was supposed to play the Paris Memorial on Sunday, but that sold out very, very fast. And I did get on the wait list, but I'm like 180th on the wait list.
Yeah, you're not getting off it.
So yeah, I'm not going to be playing that event. But Saturday we'll be there for junior provincials, and yeah, should be a fun day.
I'm excited to learn all of the tips and tricks that you pick up from the juniors, and hopefully it helps your game. We have one anti-registration, unfortunately, this week. On the last show, we mentioned that the Greater Niagara Classic was going down at Fireman's. We expressed some concern that maybe it wouldn't happen because of all of the work that's being done at the course right now. The course is currently closed, all the pond dredging activity. Unfortunately, that work is expected to continue, and the event had to be canceled. It's really too bad, but hopefully the course comes back better than ever, and we look forward to the return of the event in 2026.
Couldn't find my unmute button there for a second. That was weird. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that coming back in 2026. I am a big fan of Fireman's Park out in Niagara Falls. It is a really fun course. I went there on its opening weekend, its debut tournament. The ODSA ran a Flex Start tournament there in, I believe, 2018. Might have been 2019, somewhere in there. And it's really just keep it keeps getting better and improving. That over the pond shot on hole, I don't even know what hole number it is, but the one where you shoot
17A.
17A over the pond. Absolutely love it. So very much looking forward to that coming back in 2026. Moving over now to some general disc golf news. The 2026 rule changes that are going to come into effect at the end of this year, going into next, have officially been finalized. And we know Mr. Rules official Shawnee G is all over this. So let's hear some of it from you, Sean.
Christmas has come early because it is rules release day. I'm very excited for this. You got to know the rules before you can wield them to your advantage on the course. So, a couple of highlight a few of the notable ones and ones that might come into play a little more often in Ontario on our level of tournaments. So, first, and I think this is a really important one. So currently, when there is a ruling that needs to be made by the card, you discuss it amongst yourselves. You take a vote. Is it in? Is it out? Is it whatever? Is it OB? Is it missed? Whatever. The player can get involved in this discussion and say, I think it is. The ruling should be X, and X is in my favor. And on a card of 4, that might result in a tie. You could trigger a tie, which then gets resolved to the benefit, or the ruling was most beneficial to the player, i.e. in your favor. Well, that's gone as of 2026. The player, and by extension, their caddies, i.e. Silver Lat, can no longer have a vote in the first round of the deliberations as to what is the ruling. And this will mean that you can no longer force a tie, which then you basically can break. So if you're on a card of 4, 3 people will be making that determination. And frankly, that's the way it should be. And then also, all players on the card must vote. You have to have an opinion. And because, of course, you are watching every throw as you are required to do by the rules of disc golf, you will have watched and you will have seen what happened and you will be able to weigh in appropriately. The other one, the notable one, is in how long you have to throw the disc. So if you are on a tee, at a drop zone, or within circle 2, you have 30 seconds. Standard timing rules, no problem. Anywhere else, in the fairway, in the rough, in a bush, under a bridge, whatever, anywhere else on the course that is not one of those 3 areas, you have 45 seconds. Basically, the principle is that you can practice tee shots, you can practice putting, and you can practice drop zone. You can't really practice theoretically anywhere else on the course. There's trees here, trees there, you're in a bush, whatever. So they're going to give you a little bit of extra time, 15 extra seconds to make your shot. It also clarifies what counts as towards when your time starts. So if you get out a rangefinder, your clock is ticking. If you arrive at your disc, well, your clock is ticking. If you're checking a wind read, whatever, your clock is ticking. The clock is basically ticking. Now, of course, this will largely be irrelevant because no one calls time violations anyway, but it is good to see that they are, this is a reasonable change, I think. I think this is fine. There were also a bunch of minor changes. They clarified what constitutes as an obstacle that can be moved from your lie to make a shot easier. Basically, if it's small, if it's not attached to anything, if it's not part of the course, and you can, like, one person can move it easily without much strain, you could probably move it. If you're like calling in, a backhoe, it's probably not subject to being able to be moved.
Tiger Woods getting 15 spectators to pick up a boulder out of his lie back in the day.
100%. Or like we play a lot of courses where they use like wood logs to like line the fairway or whatever. That's a permanent part of the course. You ain't moving that. So, too bad. They also clarified that in the rare instance where the 2-meter penalty applies, when you mark your disc, you can then take the optional additional relief back on line of play like you can on an OB after an OB stroke. Of course, when we do the missed Mando events, this will not be in play, even when we use the 0.2 meter rule, especially when we use that rule. They changed the name of a relief area to a required relief area just to emphasize that, no, it is not optional. You cannot play on the side of that cliff if your disc lands on it. You must take relief back or wherever it has been specified. And then it also said now you can have TDs can create events that are non-smoking for anyone at C and B tiers, just as is the case for A+ tiers and junior events. This has to be advertised in advance, and it will also apply to caddies and event staff as well. And then one more thing, they also clarified if your disc lands on a rock in the middle of a stream, it's not touching water, but it is surrounded by water otherwise, or it's like, oh, my disc is on this path, but there's like a blade of grass that is like tickling the underside of the rim. Obviously I'm in because it's touching grass. No, you're freaking out. They're basically saying OB is a plane, and if you are on the other side of that plane, you are out. So yeah, nice try for those rules flexors and those OB flexors, but not anymore. So as always, check the rules, learn the new rules, and viciously apply them in every shot against your opponents to pick up strokes and hopefully, like me, come in second last.
Second last, the honorable Sean Galbraith Memorial spot. As is always the case in tournaments. Yeah, I like those rule changes. The thrower no longer being involved in rules determination just makes so much sense. Should have been the case in the first place. A player is 99.9% of the time going to make a ruling that is favorable to themselves. So you already knew what they were going to vote. So take that power away, make it a group vote of everybody else. Makes so much sense. I do like the timing rule as well. Basically just emphasizing that, like, tee shots and putts. All right, let's be quick. Let's keep her moving. And shots in the fairway where there can be a little more variability in terms of, where trees are in your line or what your footing is. Then you get a little bit of extra time there. I like that a lot. I don't have much more comments for the other ones, so let's move on now to our tournament recap, starting with some here locally to us in Ontario. Well, at least in Ontario. It's not exactly local to us because, well, this one is at least, but we'll get to a non-local one. But we start our recaps in St. Thomas, Ontario, at the third oldest course in the province, VA Barrie, for the 39th annual Flatt Classic, which saw 79 players across 9 divisions aiming to tackle the very long course. In the MPO division, local legend Marty Hendel took a 3-stroke lead into round 2 after a 10:39 rated -12. While second to sixth place were only separated by 2 strokes between -7 and -9. In the final round, Ezra Lockington was able to separate himself from the logjam in second and fired a 1,006 rated -9 to pull 4 strokes ahead of third into solo second. But it was Marty, though, who was able to rise above the rest of the field again, shooting another 10:39 rated -12 to take down the win by 6 strokes, his 4th win of the season so far, and 72nd overall in his career. There was no FPO division at this event, but in MP40, it was Mike Nelson and Brady Belanger tied for the lead at -7, 3 strokes ahead of third. But in the second round, the leaders struggled a bit, both shooting -2 rounds, while Pete Chapman shot a -7 to jump up into second, and Clayton Morgan shot a 1,006 rated -9 to come from behind and take down the win, his first win of the season. Over in the top amateur divisions, Taylor Quigley gets the solo win as the only competitor in FA1, her 4th straight win and 8th overall this season. Crazy FA1 season for Taylor so far. Meanwhile, in MA1, it was John Hind that ran away from the field, shooting a 10-17 rated -10 in round 1, which would have seen him only trailing to Marty in the MPO division for a 5-stroke lead in MA1, followed by a 974 rated -6 to take down the win by 6 strokes, with Jason Day and Seth Beacom tied for second. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for some thoughts from the Flatt Classic.
Sadly and unsurprisingly, no aces went down at VA Barry. They are hard to get there. We love close battles and wanted to give some flowers to a couple divisions that had them out at the flats. First shout out goes to MA2 winner from Vancouver, Josh Fuss, who took it down by 1 stroke with a birdie on the final hole of the event and averaged 63 points above his rating. Really, really, really well done. And then Jeff Gillies also won MA40 by a stroke, again by carding a birdie on the very, very last hole. What a battle, down to the last shot, the last stroke. Every throw is an opportunity to take it down and win it. And these two gentlemen in these two divisions really, really showed that. And we love to see it. So really well done, everybody there.
The Flats Classic, great tournament. I mean, 39th annual, that says a lot. Legendary tournament too. I think like back in the day, you used to see like American pros coming up and playing in the event. I know I'm pretty sure I've seen Scott Stokely has been up and played in that tournament. Probably even Kenny at one point. Ken Climo back in the day probably came up. Obviously Elaine King was a frequent at this event for a long time. So legendary event here in Ontario on a really fun course too. If you've never been out to VA Barrie, make the trip out there. It's really fun, park style for the most part, but there are 2 holes that stick out like a sore thumb. One that goes way uphill on a mostly flat course, one that goes way, way, way uphill, and then another one that comes way, way, way downhill, like a 500 plus foot shot with 100 plus feet of elevation drop on hole 9. It is really, really cool shot to throw. But we will move on now to the next stop on the Ontario Tour, which was also the next A Tour in Ontario. And it takes us out to Bourget, Ontario for the 2025 Eastern Canadian Amateur National, which was played on a new hybrid layout that combined parts of both courses at Eddyville into one monster track. This year, the tournament had 110 competitors across 17 divisions battling it out, all looking for a top 3 spot to book their ticket to provincials. And I got to give a shout out to Jacob Mainville, who was playing in the MPO division here, but also before the tournament went out and filmed a playthrough of the new Eddyville Elite layout, which I got to take a peek at before the tournament. The layout looks awesome. As somebody that's played Eddyville, it looks like it takes parts of both courses that I absolutely love, mashes some holes together into par 4s, and just looks like an absolute blast. But at the tournament, the MPO division had a solid field of 20 players, highlighted by the top 2 highest rated players in Canada, Marty Hendel and Thomas Gilbert. And they showed why their ratings are what they are after round 1, with Thomas sitting in first after a 10-30 rated -8, with Marty only 1 stroke back in second, and Charles Blanchette another stroke back in third. In the second round, in the second round was a back and forth battle between the two leaders, who in the end both shot 10-30 rated -9s to stay one stroke apart, but separated themselves to 9 strokes over third place. The final round was more of the same back and forth for both players having a share of or the solo lead at part of the round. Through 13 holes, Thomas was maintaining his one-stroke lead, but a bogey for him and a birdie for Marty on 14 swapped the lead right around. Hole 15 would see Thomas take a bogey, but Marty took a triple bogey to once again give Thomas the one-stroke lead. From there, Thomas would go up by 2 on 16 with a birdie. Both players would birdie 17, and on 18, Thomas was able to cash an amazing eagle, while Marty unfortunately took another bogey for Thomas to take it down by 5 strokes in the end for his 6th win of the season. Over in the FPO division, it was another tight battle at the top, with Colleen McInnes holding a one-stroke lead over Jess Goulet after one round, with Sandy Hendel another 4 strokes back in third. While in round 2, the leaders separated themselves from the rest of the field, both shooting 948 rated -1s for Colleen to keep a one-stroke lead over Jess, with Sandy now 12 strokes back of the lead in third. The third round saw a crazy back and forth, with Colleen extending her lead to 2 after the second hole, but Jess getting it back down to 1 after hole 4. Jess would take back-to-back birdies on hole 8 and 9 to tie and then take the lead before both players went birdie, bogey, birdie on the next 3 holes for the lead to remain at 1. A bogey from Jess on 13 with a birdie from Colleen switched the lead again, but a birdie from Jess on 14 tied things up again, where they would remain until they were going into hole 17. Jess would get the birdie, while Colleen got the par to give Jess a one-stroke lead going into the final round, where both players actually struggled, with Jess taking a double bogey, but unfortunately Colleen wasn't able to take advantage, taking a triple bogey of her own, and Jess would take the win by 2 strokes for her second A-tier win and 5th win overall this season. She is on a heater right now. In the top amateur divisions, Jesse Robinson takes down the solo win in FA1 as the only competitor in the field. And in MA1, it was Ryan McWaters who outlasts the field, averaging 961 rated over the 3 rounds, en route to a 4-stroke win over Gabriel Pilote and Jean-Francois Menard, who finished in third and finally got his qualification to provincials. JF is a good buddy of mine that I like running into at tournaments, and I know has been talking a while about how he keeps finishing in 4th and just outside of that qualification, but finally got it done. So shout out to you, JF. I hope you're listening to this right now. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any of your thoughts from ECAN, a course that you still somehow have not played.
Still have not played Eddyville. A shame and a stain on my record. The Eddyville Elite layout sounded absolutely bonkers, and like a lot of fun. So a little jealous that the people who got out there to be able to play it. It looks like it was a great event again, and a lot of fun. So definitely kudos to all the winners. No. Not surprising again, no aces, and I don't believe there are any divisions that were won by only a single stroke. So yeah, there was some runaways out there, a few of them, and I don't really have anything to add on this one. Well done, everyone, as always, and maybe next year I'll get to play.
It's a couple of tight battles. I mean, we talked about 2 of them there in the MPO and FPO division, but just the final scores ended up not being. They looked a little larger than what they felt like for most of those rounds, especially in MPO. I mean, Thomas ended up winning by 5 strokes, but Marty was right in it, right down to the wire, until some unfortunate bogeys. But that's golf. That is golf for you. Shawnee G, well, let's move on now to some Pro Tour recaps. And I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't write anything out for this. We're just going to totally wing it. And I got to be honest about another thing. Coming off of back-to-back majors and the Worlds, I couldn't have cared less about the Turku Open. I'm sorry, Turku. You deserve better, but I had zero bandwidth for the Turku Open.
Turku was a thing that happened. Someone
Yes.
won it. Somebody won the other division. I think we're good.
People want it. We will. I will at least say the winners in the FPO division. Silva Sodernen takes it down in a playoff over Kaidi Alsalu. I believe. Yeah, looking at the scores, Kaidi bogeyed hole 18 to end up going into that playoff. Which though I believe, if I'm remember, yes, Turku had the island 18. So a fairly tricky shot. And over in the MPO division, Ezra Robinson sneaks out a one-stroke win over Calvin Heimberg, with Daniel Davidson finishing in third. I'm not sure if you saw this or not, Sean, but Ezra, I still don't understand how. Like I said, 18 is an island shot. His disc is coming in. It looks like it's just dropping out of the sky. The wind is pushing it down. It lands short of the hay bales and leaps over top of them in a ridiculous jump that even him afterwards was like, wow, I really got away with one there. So it was eventful down the stretch. Daniel Davidson played great. Actually went into the final round in a three-way tie for the lead with Aaron Gossage and Laurie Lettinen, but wasn't able to pull it together in the final round. But we're not going to cover this in our recaps, but he was able to, while a lot of Europeans were still not at Ledgestone, it was because they were at Finnish Nationals, and Daniel Davidson was able to take it down in the MPO division, beating out Nicholas Antila and Laurie Lettinen and some of those other big Finnish names. We're not going to cover that at all, but just I saw that big win for Daniel Davidson in third place at Turku. It's a name to keep an eye on down the stretch here at the end of the year. Shawty G, any thoughts from you on Turku at all, or do you just want
Literally
to breeze
none.
on by? Absolutely none. Yeah, Turku got screwed by being a week after the World Championships. There's just everybody was ready for a weekend off, and I feel like it may have extended a little bit into the following weekend as well when we headed over to Ledgestone. I know for me, I didn't pay attention to Ledgestone as much as I normally would. I had some other stuff on the go as well, some family stuff going on. But at Ledgestone in the FPO division, Valerie Mondahano takes down Owen Scoggins in a 3-hole playoff after Val had an absolutely insane, which was it? It was round 3, a 1035 rated minus 11. Absolutely bonkers, shredded, and then kind of struggled down the stretch in the final round while Owen in the back, Owen on the back 9 went 7 under to get into the playoff. Went absolutely, she just forgot how to miss a putt, similar to what we were seeing at Worlds. But Val takes her down in the playoff. But more important to us here on the Missed Mando podcast was good friend of the show, Rebecca Dawn, was all over coverage throughout this one. She was sitting after round 2. She was sitting in a tie for third place, was able to get onto the lead card for the third round at a DGPT Plus event. Absolutely amazing. She was still sitting in third after the third round, so she's on lead card for final round. All of the cameras, all the pressure, and she played really well. She ends up dropping down to fourth. She did have a couple hole stretch where she went double bogey, par, bogey, and kind of took her out. But at that point, I think she was only 1 or 2 strokes off the lead at that point. She was right in it. Did not look nervous at all. I mean, Rebecca made Canada super, super proud, without a doubt. How much of that you get to see, Shawnee G?
Got to watch an okay amount, not as much as I would have liked, certainly, but saw the early rounds and a chunk of Saturday, and then caught the highlights on Sunday and was following along on my phone as I was out and about. Man, Rebecca tied for first in C1X putting at 88%, tied for first for fewest bogeys at only 10%, and tied for first in shots gained C1X at 8.12, and tied for the fewest OBs at 2 for the tournament. Like, really, really great showing. Also want to give a shout out to other Canadian, Chantel Badinsky, whose putting was going great. She was 94%, so first place for C1 putting, and was 82% for C1X, and a very solid 23% from C2. She did some, I mean, not as good as she had hoped off the tee. She ran into OB a little bit too much with 7 overall, but I mean, we all know how great a putter Chantal is, and it was awesome to see it on full display in the stats this weekend. So shout out to her for sure. The playoff, man. What can you say? It's great to see Val Mondahano back in action. It has been a while since we've seen her take something down.
Almost 2 years exactly.
Yeah. That injury, I think, hit her a little bit harder than maybe she was thinking. It took a while to come back. And if this signals that she's back, like 0% double bogey, first in the field, 86% fairway hits, first in the field, C2 and reg, 67%, first in the field. Like, absolutely outstanding out there, to come up against the dog and eventually prevail. Owen Scoggins, 1,154 feet of total putting. Just absolutely monster stat. First in the field by a fair bit. Of course, she was number 1 in C1X at 88%. Like, she's just a monster. But also, she came in at birdie 43% of the time. Like, Own, you can never count out the dog, and she showed why. And if we can get Val in the mix, in addition to Kat, who had a great event, in addition to Own, and now in addition to Rebecca Dawn, I mean, FPO continues to be the better division to watch, and it's way more fun. The MPO, Gannon ran away with it. Like, who cares? It was boring robot Gannon, just going in and just, crushing it, and not very exciting.
Gannon is so out of this world good at disc golf. It is insane to watch. But FBO was highly entertaining through this whole event. It's basically the only coverage that I really caught of the event was FPO. I watched a couple of the MPO highlight stuff, but watched rounds 3 and 4 live for FPO when I could. And it was a blast. I loved it. I mean, Ledgestone is always a great tournament, and I mean, obviously, huge shout out to Rebecca, like I said, and it was great to see Val take down a win again. You could see how much it meant to her when she was in tears afterwards, and just, she was, for a little while before she got injured, like, she was on the rise to be like one of the, like, get herself into that top echelon tier of player with Holland and Missy and the rest. And then the injury happened, and she wasn't around for a while and has needed time to get back. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come for her. Shawnee G mentioned it, but Gannon Buhr runs away with things on the MPO side. He actually was trailing by 1 stroke after the first round after shooting a 1090 rated -12 because Anthony Barella decided to shoot a 1097 rated -13 with 2 bogeys, 15 birdies, and 2 bogeys. Absolutely crazy. He only parred hole 2. This is the only par he got in the whole round. Crazy. But then after round 2, it was Gannon with a 1-stroke lead. After round 3, it was up to 3 strokes. And in the finals, Gannon starts out 3 for 3, extending his lead. Squeaks open the door a little bit. He takes a weird double bogey on hole 5, which is the baseball diamond hole for anyone familiar with Eureka Temp out at Ledgestone. But then he decided, he was like, wait a second, I'm Gannon Buhr. And he goes, birdie, birdie, par, birdie, 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 bogey to finish the round. Just slid in 1 bogey at the end there, just as like, I won't run away with it too much. But he did. He won by 5 strokes in the end over Kyle Klein in second place, with Isaac Robinson another 2 strokes back in third. One thing that I did want to just quickly mention, and this was brought up on the Griplock podcast, looking at C1X putting for this tournament, there were, what is this, 5? Oh, there was more. Oh, wait, that's because I'm not looking at all rounds. That's why. So looking at for all rounds, so for the entire tournament, there were 5 players that were 100% C1X. Luke Sampson went 14 of 14. Kyle Klein went 34 of 34. Andrew Marweed, 35 of 35. Eagle McMahon, 36 of 36. Isaac Robinson, 52 of 52. Pardon? 2 putts in C1X, and he made them all. What even is the math on that? He's got 16 more C1X putts made or attempted than anyone else who had 100% C1X putting. And like even Eagle, 36 of 36, that's a lot of putts. That's a lot of putts to make. But 52? What? And to go perfect, that is absolutely wild. He also was 4 of 14 from C2 putting for 29%. So kind of balanced himself out there, but did end up finishing in third for Isaac. So pretty good. Any other thoughts from you on Ledgestone there, Mr. Shawnee G?
It was nice seeing Kyle Klein's name pop up in the list, even though no chance to take down Gannon Buhr. Shout out to friend of the show, Luke Taylor, for having a great tied for 5th place finish. Well done there. And then new friend of the show, Jaden Rye, who came in solo 13th for a really good finish. Gannon, I mean, he's so good. He's so boring, but he's so good that he won it without getting a single hot round of the event.
He did that at Worlds too.
Just played, and it was fine.
Just get the second best round every single round, and you're going to do good.
Yeah, apparently it's good enough. Yeah, I'm going back to FPO.
Yeah. I mean, Gannon's just walking these in. But I do also agree and think that some domination is a good thing to push the division forward, because Kristen absolutely whooped the entire FPO division 2 years ago, and look at where the FPO division is now with a lot of really good players up at the top. Some really good rising stars as well, coming off of Worlds with Ida Letamaki. Insane future of the FPO division is looking bright. So, we're going to see Gannon push this division, and it's going to make some better disc golf because of it. Moving on now to our previews. Only one tournament to preview coming up, and that is the LWS Open out at Idlewild. An amazing tournament every single year. All of the big dogs are in the field. I don't see any notable absences other than, of course, in the FPO division, Kristen Lott will not be there. I also am not seeing Silva Saarinen.
Basically, none of the Euros are there.
Yeah, none of the Euros. It's looking like. Yep.
Last weekend they had all like the Finnish state champion or
Finnish nationals,
Finnish champion, Finnish nationals, Estonian nationals, Swedish nationals, Norwegian nationals. All of their nationals were last weekend, and I think a lot of them are hanging out at home. I don't even know if they're coming to play D-Glow.
There's a couple in the field. Vino Makala is back over here. Albert Tom is also back for Idlewild, and Linus Carlson. Jakub Simmerod as well. So some of the names that do tour in the U.S. fairly frequently are back over, but yeah, it is missing a lot of the top Europeans. And on the FBO side, there is not one European. So,
and we're not going to see Kristen stateside again until Throw Pink, apparently.
Yes, she's taking time off, heal, recover. She's back home, and it's going to be good for her. So, any predictions or anything from you out of Idlewild, Shawnee G?
I really like Idlewild. So one of the things that's fun about Idlewild is that it doesn't get repeat winners. I don't think anybody has repeat won Idlewild, and of the 7 winners, 5 of them it has been their first win on tour. If you recall, I think it was last year Buckets won it on that right down at the end there. We almost threw it in on the 18. A great event. I definitely one that I look forward to and look forward to watching for sure.
So yeah, you're right. Going back, it's on the MPO side, because on the FPO side, it's not the case. But on the MPO side, going back to 2017 when it joined the Pro Tour, we've had James Conrad, Paul Macbeth, Kevin Jones, Eagle McMahon, Kyle Klein, Isaac Robinson, Gannon Burr, and Joey Buckets. 8 unique winners in 8 years, and on the FPO side, going back to 2017, it went Paige Pierce, Ellen Widboom, throwback name there. I haven't seen that name in ages. Paige Pierce in 21, Katrina Allen, Val Mondahano, and Owen Scoggins won it last year. With the form that Owen is in right now, I would not be surprised to see her take it down again, especially with how the rest of the top dogs are looking. Holland just missed cash at Ledgestone. Missy had a weird. She's played solid, but like hasn't been at her top shape. So
Cat could take it down.
Scary.
Cat's peaking at the right time.
Yep. Cat has definitely been in good shape. Rebecca Dawn in the field.
Mm-hmm. Paige herself had to drop it because her house is falling apart down in Pensacola.
I saw her story from
termite
from
damage, and she had to go down to help take care of that, which is really
yikes. Not fun. Yeah. Not what you want to deal with in the middle of a season.
Nope. But we're going to, of course, be watching the Canadian Air Force take this down. Chantel Radinsky and Rebecca Dawn. Let's go Team Canada.
And good friend of the show, Thomas Gilbert, is in the field in the MPO division as well. Is this Thomas's return to the tour after? No, he played in Worlds and the European Disc Golf Festival. But other than that, his only other pro tours this year have been Northwest Disc Golf Championship and the Supreme Flight Open, taking a little bit of it more time off from the tour But I believe we are going to see, let's take a peek. We've got, Thomas is going to be at the Idlewild. He will be at D-Glow before coming on back for the Canadian Championship and also playing Knock out in Sault Ste. Marie. So it'll be good to see Thomas back out on the Pro Tour, hopefully good enough to get onto some coverage. But Shawnee G, if that's it for you from Idlewild, then I think we are good to wrap up this episode for this week. Thank you once again so much to Jaden Rye for coming on and joining Sean for an interview. And that's going to do it for us here on Missed Mando. For my wonderful co-host, Sean Galbraith, I am Robbie Holden, signing off, and we will see you on the course.
We're gonna confirm.